I am great.
Hi, Kinsley. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Good evening once again, and I hope you're ready for our startup tonight.
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Wish you and us the very best.
Amen. So we're the only ones here. Students aren't here yet.
If you opened up the student link as well.
No, I haven't. I just opened ours.
Okay. So so after this after tonight's facilitation, I would send you those things as we discussed. I didn't want to distract you with whatever we have. Just wanted you to concentrate.
Okay, thank
Hope
you.
that's fine.
So yeah, sure. So this is live. We're streaming live. Meaning everything is recorded.
Yeah, sure. It's quite good, and I
Yeah.
think the students are also, from what I can see, they are all geared up for this particular program.
Mm.
So, and we have to give them the best.
Okay, so can anyone hear me? Can everybody hear me clearly? Okay, great. So, welcome once again, everyone. My name is Nancy Baba Ali. I'm going to be your project manager instructor for this course. So, welcome, 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 everybody. So, today, I will be, like I've mentioned earlier, your instructor, Nancy Baba Ali. I also have my co-instructor, Mr. Kingsley, who from time to time would be taking over in times that I won't be available, or just whenever you need to contact any of the instructors. It's either myself or Mr. Kingsley you'll be seeing on the shuffle for better interactions, and for vast knowledge and understanding about the course. So Saratu says she can't hear me. I hope your volume is up. Great. So without further ado, I'm going to share my slides with everybody. So first and foremost, this is Lisa Project Management. Ladies in Tech, incubating amazing women and empowering so many women into greatness, into the field of success and, employment. I want you to first know that for you to decide that you want to take this course, you are not just building yourself, but you're empowering yourself to becoming a successful and great person, not just to yourself, but to your community, to your family, to your friends, to everybody around you. And honestly, I want to say big congratulations to you for making this step to becoming great, to becoming a greater woman, to becoming a greater lady, and to just blessing yourself and your community at large. So, first and foremost, um, the scheme for this week would be as seen on my screen, which is introduction to project management, defining project management, project lifecycle, project management methodologies, agile, waterfall, and hybrid, and the role of a project manager. So, first and foremost, I want you to also understand that you being a project manager is you being a legit worker, you being a legit employee or employer, depending on what campaign or what project you're working on. For people to pick you up on your skill, it means that you have something that they need. And as a project manager, you're supposed to be a symbiosis. You're supposed to be the backbone of a company. You're supposed to be the backbone of the success of a project. So someone is already asking how long will tonight's classes be. It's meant to be for 2 hours. It's just a simple introduction to let you know what you should be looking forward to in this course. So without further ado, let's move into defining project management. So what is project management? Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements to achieve a goal. So, when you hear this, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Let's start with what is a project? A project can be a campaign, it can be an ad, it can be a event, it can be a company's goal. And for you to be able to successfully achieve this, you have to go through the whole processes of being a project manager. And you also have to know the components of project management. So we have the key components of project management. We have planning, organizing, and leading. First, which is planning, says defining project scope, goals, and deliverables, creating a detailed project plan. So, like I mentioned, what is project management? Okay, sorry, my network went down a bit. So, yeah, planning, defining project scope. So, in order for you to be able to understand a project, you have to fully understand what the project is about. Let's say, for example, there is a school that needs to have, let's just pick something very fun, a prom date or so a prom night. You know, now it's students graduating and all. So that's just the best example I can give from the top of my head. And let's say they don't have all the necessary tools to create, a good event. Yeah, you can get an event manager to do that, but you need a project manager to be able to also fine tune and fine line everything to streamline the whole project. Because let's say this school also wants to increase visibility on social media. Let's say the school also wants to get more outreach to parents. Let's say this school also wants to have parents enroll their kids in this school by the end of this session. Let's say the school as well want to open a new branch just to reach more of their target audiences, or to be able to what is a yeah, to make the kids also enjoy themselves in the whole process of everything. So as a project manager, this is just a rough example though. As a project manager, you're meant to talk with the teachers. You're supposed to you're first and foremost, you're supposed to know what the mission and the vision of the school is, the values of the school. What is the mission of the school? Why are you investing so much in this prom? Why are you deciding that this is the time you want to do it? What type of target audiences are you trying to get? What do students tend to gain when they come into the school? What is the goal for the school? What is the goal? What is the end goal for the school? What is the end goal for the students in this school? How can we apply this to the students' lives? How can we show that not all everything is about schooling, but also about fun? How can we merge these two and make parents see that yes, your child will be suitable for this school? Not only are you just working as, the person that is trying to understand the company or the school, you're also trying to navigate from. So you once you've got that, you've done your research, you've spoken to customers, like what they once you have your thing, once you have your thing, can anyone hear me? Sorry, my network actually just went off mid presentation. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Great, great, great. Thank you so much. So yeah, defining the project scope is very important. Defining the project, knowing exactly what your audiences want, or knowing what exactly your client or customer wants, helps you deeply in knowing what exactly you are supposed to give back, or what this it determines the success of the project in a nutshell. It just determines the success of the project in a nutshell. So whilst you've planned organizing, we women are very good at organizing. That's one thing that men always say, and that's one thing I think your friend will always say too. You're very good at organizing. That's like one of our best traits. That's like our superpower. So, assembling the project team, assigning roles, and allocating resources. In order for you to be able to do this task, you have to know what everybody can do. You have to know what everybody can carry. You have to be very descriptive. You have to be very precise. You have to be clear. You have to be very meticulous. You have to be very clear. Communication is key when you're also organizing. Communication is key when you're trying to pass a message, or when you're trying to successfully reach a goal with people. So assembling the project team is one thing. It's like it's one of the most important things you will have to, because you have to focus on, because most of the times people people don't get the right persons for the roles. People don't get the right persons for the roles, or people tend to relax. People tend to be lazy. So you have to know, you have to have a very good, reliable, trustworthy team. I'm sure a lot of people here, I'm sure we have experienced project managers already in this forum. I know we have people that are just, coming on board in project management. I know there's some persons that also are trying to navigate themselves in project management. So I'm sure with the little that you've been able to go through this part in life, you've been able to know that people are not the most reliable or most trustworthy, because of you're constantly, it's your problem, it's your project, it's your campaign. It's if you take it to be as yours, it's then something that you have to be very, very serious about. You have to be conscious about it. So you picking your team, organizing your team is a very important thing for you to be able to reach success, reach success, acquire success, because people will tend to be funny. So you, like, I will keep on hammering, having a great team helps make the work easier. Having a great team helps make everything easier, not just in workspace but also in life. So, and this is project management. So you have to have a great team, and assigning roles as well. Assigning roles, you can't be assigning a graphics designer a web developer's role. You can't be assigning a teacher's role to a cleaner's role. You have to be very clear too as well while doing this, because allocating of tasks to people too is a very critical role of a project manager. And one thing you also need to learn and also keep at the back of your mind is liaison. You have to liaise with not just stakeholders, not just colleagues, but there are persons that you have worked with in the past, or people that you have gone through their profiles in the future and you've seen great returns of what they've been able to do. So these are the key persons you're supposed to acquire and have in your project. You have to be clear, you have to be precise in knowing what exactly you need and who exactly you need on your project. You understand me? Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I think my camera is better now and people can hear me clearly now. I'm happy about that. So, allocating resources. This is just like assigning roles. When you're trying to, I'm still going to go back to the prom events example. When you're trying to get caterers, who are you supposed to call? How are they going to get their raw materials? How are they getting the rice? How are they getting the spices? Are you going to a farmer directly? Are you going to get it from a supermarket? Are you getting it from a normal market? You need to be able to be strategic about your resources. You have to be strategic about your resources. You have to have good suppliers. You have to have people that will always deliver. This is one part, very important part of project management as well. Apart from that, we have leading. Leading, which is motivating the team, resolving conflicts, and making decisions. Akinusi says that she can't see or hear anything. I think you need to, you can go back on, like off, and then come back on. Okay, because a lot of persons are saying they can see me well. So we'll have to proceed. I'm sorry, Akinusi, Elizabeth. We have to proceed. You can always get this video at the end of the day. So, motivating the team, resolving conflicts, and making decisions. So, you need to also understand that with humans or whoever you are collaborating with in trying to acquire a goal or achieve a goal, there are constantly going to be clashes here and there. People are constantly going to uh, have miscommunications. There are going to be problems. There are going to be just off situations that not everybody has the patience for. So, as a role of a project manager, it's not just the project now that you're thinking 10 times about, you're also thinking about your team. You're constantly going to be motivating your team. You have to resolve conflicts between your team. You have to understand where everybody is coming from. You cannot be biased. You have to always be clear. You have to always try to state the mission and vision of the project, because once you don't have these 2 points clear to your team, it's a problem to be able to reach the acquired goal that you all wish to get. You understand? So making decisions. So along the process of project management, each step you take, each in whatever methodology you take, be it agile or waterfall or hybrid, um, they tend to be fallouts. There will always be fallouts, and unforeseen circumstances which you are supposed to plan. You have to be great at decision making. You have to be a quick decision maker. You have to be somebody that is not emotional, that once you have your data and your reports back, you have to be clear and strategic about everything. You cannot let emotions get in the way of your work. You cannot let relationships get in between you and achieving your goals. You have to be very, very, very strategic about this. And if you have decision making pinpointed in your life as a great skill already, then kudos to you. You're doing great in becoming an amazing project manager. So once we're done with this, the next slide is project life cycle. The project life cycle is a series of phases that a project goes through from its beginning to completion. It provides a structured approach to managing projects and ensures that all necessary steps are taken to achieve project objectives. So, like I've mentioned earlier, in the process of project management, which is planning, which is organizing and decision making and allocating. These are part of the phases that you are meant to face, sorry, as a project manager. You are constantly meant to be in the know-how. You're constantly going through your sheets. You're constantly going through your software to know where you're lacking, to know where you need to update yourself, to know where you need to make right decisions, to know where someone is falling behind, to know where if the to know when the project is on track. These are very important for you to be able to make sure that the project reaches optimum results, optimum results or um, great success at the end of the day. Decision making and strategic planning. You can use that. That is it. Decision making and strategic planning. David, sorry. So, yeah, um, the project life cycle is from the first stage, which is research, which is research. Without a great, I feel like you cannot have a successful or a great project without understanding the market, without understanding the nature, without understanding what the campaign, brand, ad may be. You understand? You have to know these stages. You have to live for these stages. You have to constantly understand. So the first stage being research, then you then plan, because you can't just work with everything that's in your head. The moment you think, yes, I know this, I know this, I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that, you tend to make very critical mistakes. You make very bad mistakes. And because you are a leader, you have to also be very accountable. You have to be very accountable. You have to be very accountable for your decisions. You have to be very accountable for your decisions, because it's it's um it's not them. You're the one leading. You're the one allocating. You're the one making decisions for them. So how comes you're able to make this decision and it led to failure? And human beings will never want to take full responsibility. So like I mentioned earlier, as a human being or as a project manager, your number one favorite new skill or new bestie will be patience. You have to have patience, you have to have understanding, you have to have a lot of good communication skills too as well, and ethical and integrity and good values in order to be able to help the project to fully reach its acquired goal or its desirable goal. Yeah, desirable goal. So next we have the 5 phases of project lifecycle. Yes, you'll be able to get the PDF after the class so that for the persons that are coming in late will be able to review it and yeah, move forward. So we have the initiation stage, which is identifying the project need or opportunity. Like I mentioned, how is this going to impact the company? How is this going to impact the brand? How is it going to impact this campaign? How am I making this project to have conversions for my client? Is he getting more database? Is she gaining more visibility? Are people looking forward to collaborating with her or him? You understand? This is part of what a project manager is supposed to be thinking, where your mind is supposed to be at. So defining project scope, like I mentioned earlier, goals and objectives. Yeah. Thank you, Abimbola. Yeah. And then research, like I said, is very important, is very critical. In order for you to be able to have a successful understanding of what your project is, you have to make research. You have to know what other people are doing, what other project managers are doing, what other brands are doing about the same project. And it's not a bad thing for you to see something somewhere and be inspired by it and try to apply it, because it's out there for you to learn, it's out there for you to pick inspiration, it's out there for you to be able to make things in your way to help make your project easier and to help make your clients happy. These are very, very important. This is very, very important, the initiation stage. The moment you have a full understanding and you have full grasp of what the project is supposed to be, then you have started at a very smooth sailing for your project. Second is planning, developing a detailed project plan. You have to be very time cautious too, as well. I didn't mention that earlier. You have to be very time cautious. You have to know what the timing of each phase is supposed to be in your project plan. You cannot just have a project that's allocating or you're sourcing for what's it called, resources at a month and a half. You've set yourself for failure. You've set yourself for complete failure. You have to plan meticulously about your time. You have to have smart goals. I don't know if you know what smart goals are. Smart goals is S stands for specific, um, M stands for measurable, A stands for attainable. A stands for attainable. R is relevance. How realistic is it? How can you acquire it? How can you achieve it? And T is time bound. I can take that again if you want me to take that again. Um, S stands for specific. You have to be specific. You have to be clear. You have to be precise. You cannot be everywhere. You have to just be very, very strategic and very precise about your role. This is what the job is. This is what the project is about. This is what the brand is looking for. If it's I'm still going to use my example, the prom for, let's say, God with Us School. Let's use that as the name of the school. If God with us school says that the prom is what they are trying to put their focus on for you to try and help them get visibility and make sure the project is successful and make sure that parents are happy and there's conversions. You have to be specific. You have to know, who am I getting to be able to make this visible, this project visible? Am I getting digital marketers? Am I getting content creators? Am I getting a web developer to create a specific page for this school if the school do not have it? You understand? You have to be very specific in your planning, in your resource allocating, and in your research. Yes, you have to be very, very specific. And then for M, which is measurable, you have to measure you have to measure the timing. You have to be clear. How long or what do we need in order to be. Thank you so much, Sarah. Sarah seems to be really getting the hang of every single thing that I've been saying. Yes, Sarah Gabriel, thank you so much. Yes, so measurable. You have to be able to know the time lapse for everything. Is this something that it will take longer than expected? Is this something that this is beyond our budget? What is the budget we're working with? What is who are we acquiring for these roles? You have to be very measurable. You cannot just make decisions because you want to make decisions. You have to make decisions that are precise, that are going to benefit this project and not cause a strain on you or on the brand or the client or even your team. You have to be very you constantly have to be thinking of this circle. You have to be thinking of this circle. You're not just alone. You have to be thinking of everybody. You have to be carrying everybody along. So we also have A, which is attainable. Is it something we need to spend on? Can we make do of the things that are in the school? Do we need to go rent a hall? Do we need to get extra teachers to chaperone? These are things that you have to be very wise about. Is this something that we can make do with what we have, or we have to go get more outside? Are we outsourcing? Are we doing in house? These are very important things for you to think about. Yes, achievable. Then reliable, relevant. R stands for relevance. Sorry, relevance. Is it relevant? Is it realistic? You can use relevance or realistic, not reliable, my love, Oluchi. R stands for relevant or reliable. Or sorry, relevant or realistic. Sorry, I'm reading and I'm getting a bit confused. Yes, relevant or realistic. Thank you, Odu. That I'm so grateful for that. Yes, relevant or realistic. Is are we going to get what are we going to get Solomon Lange? Is Solomon Lange going to be available for us next week? And the event is in 5 days, and we call him today and tell him, oh, Solomon Lange, we need you at our prom to be able to perform. That is not relevant. Why not just get a DJ? The school proprietor is saying that she wants each of the students to come into the school with a limousine. Is that relevant? Isn't that causing more cost for you? How are you going to pay all these drivers? How are you going to fuel the car? Fuel is very expensive in Nigeria. So you have to be very, very meticulous. This is things that will help you to not just help them make wise decisions, but also help let the focus of the project be on the project, not anything else. As much as people want to have an extravagant event or have an extravagant product, or the brand wants to be extravagant or their campaign or ad, you have to be very, very, very meticulous about this. Is it relevant? Is it important? Is it something that we can do without? So yeah. Then time bound, which made us to be able to come to smart smart methodology or smart decision making. Relevance, time bound. What is the time frame for this event? What's the time frame for this project? How long is it going to take us to make research? How long is it going to take us to deploy this? How long is it going to take us to get all the teams on board and to be able to, excuse me, produce this? How long is it going to take us to market this product? How long is it going to take for testing? Are we using A and B testing? Are we just doing dummy testing? Are we going to be using surveys? What is the feedback afterwards? How are we working with this? You have to be very time bound. You have to be very time bound. You have to, as much as you want to be specific and meticulous about your team and organizing, you always have to consider the timing. You cannot just have the event on the last day and say that that is the day you want to start calling the event planner to come set the stage up, or to come set the building up, or that's the day you're telling your students or your teachers that, oh, sorry, we need chaperones because we didn't plan on maybe a plan B in case the ones that we outsource for are not able to make it. You have to constantly think about this. So which takes me down to planning, developing a detailed project plan. As much as I've said it, this is also part of smart goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic or relevant, and time bound. You also have to think about the first stages, which is planning, organizing, um, and allocating of resources, and also staffing too as well. Creating a work breakdown structure. Creating a work breakdown structure. How are we going to do it? Are we going to schedule it that you have to be in the office or you have to do your tasks? Let's say you're doing a remote job. Most remote jobs just want you to work for 48 hours. So how are you going to be using your 40 hours to do this? How are you going to be doing this? Is it that you're going to pick out, are you going to be doing 8 to 5? Are you going to be doing 5 to 12? As crazy as it sounds, you have to be very, very um, considerate about people's times too as well. You cannot just, because your timing is perfect, means that everybody's timing is perfect. Everybody has to everybody has to be considerate about everybody's time. Time is value, time is money, time is life. Everybody's thinking about their own time. So you have to make sure that your time goes well with other people's time. So yeah, you have to make a breakdown of the structuring. You have to break it down, how you're going to be having meetings with your teams. Are you going to be having meetings every 3 times a week or twice a week? What are the days? Are we using Mondays, Wednesdays, or Fridays? Or we're going with Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays? So you have to be very time cautious as well. Yeah, you have to be time conscious. Yes, thank you so much, Alabi Bisola. Thank you. Um, so yeah, you have to have a breakdown structure. How are we going to do this? When I take you to the methodologies of project management, this will make much more clarity for you as well on how to break down a work structure. Then we have developing a project schedule and budget. So yeah, this is a topic that not everybody likes getting into. Sometimes clients don't like to share their budgets. They want you to make the best out of what you can, which is really a lot, which can be very strenuous to you as a project manager. So you have to be very realistic and clear with your clients. You also have to work on the budgeting. You have to tell them, make them trust you, because there's situations where persons or project managers squander so much money on projects and they have nothing to show for. It can be very heartbreaking on your clients or the brand or the product too as well. because not just is it affecting your relationship, it's also affecting the outcome of this project. It's seriously damaging it. Most likely you're not getting high quality resources. Most likely you're squandering the money on things that are not important or relevant. These are things that you have to put into consideration when you are trying to work with a budget, or you are trying to make sure that people can trust you. You have to make sure people trust you so much with their money. And one thing again, as a project manager, a lot of people tend to lose opportunities. I'm sorry, this is very funny, because there are times that people would there are brands that would just be like, okay, so we want you to spend 500 million on this project. And because of maybe that's your first time of hearing that kind of amount or working with that kind of amount, you just shout, oh my god, blood of Jesus, what do you want me to do with that kind of money? You just sound very unprofessional. You have to be professional when it comes to money. Yes, the money is a lot. Yes, the money is something that you're hearing for the first time in your life. Do not care. You have to be very professional. You have to have so much professionalism in yourself and work ethic that when they see you, they can trust you with the money. And make sure that you're very realistic. Some people too as well will show you a very bad budget for like an event that's or a project that is cut head. It's cutting head. So you have to tell them, okay, if this budget is not working for me, is there an extra money that I can work with so that this project will be successful? How do you want me to be able to give you the best if you're not going to bring enough money to this project? And okay, fine, if I can work with this project, how do you what quality are you expecting? Because if this is not going to be of high level or high grade quality, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. You also have to be very clear with yourself too as well. If you're going to be known for delivering great work, you have to tell them this is the price, this is the value. If you cannot go up, honestly, I'm sorry, I can recommend other persons to you that can work with this budget, but I personally cannot work with this budget. You have to be very clear, you have to be very honest and transparent, because at the end of the day, if they see that you are spending so much and you're giving them good quality, people would want to ride you. People would want to say that you are spending their money, when maybe at the back of it, at the back end, you are the one even funding their projects. So you have to constantly think about yourself too as well, and constantly think about the project. Is this something you can work on? Is it something that they can work on? Is it something that you can try to compromise for? Fine, but make sure. Money is a very sensitive matter for a lot of brands, for a lot of clients, for a lot of campaigns. So make sure that if it's not something you can work with, recommend. It's not going to kill you. Those people too as well, if they know that they can't handle this project, they'll tell you, I know an A-level project manager that can handle this. And because of your professionalism, clearly you've done something right and you've helped the world make it better than you squandering somebody else's money or you deciding to be selfish. Yes. So these are really things that you also have to think about when it comes to budgeting. Budgeting is a very touchy topic for me, because I feel like you have to be very clear with this. You have to be very clear with this. If it's not something that you can be patient or understanding with, honestly, do not get yourself involved. So yeah, project scheduling and budgeting, that is it for me. Then identifying and accessing project risks. This is actually one of the most important roles of a project manager. You have to constantly be evaluating your report. You have to be constantly evaluating the project, because each stage that you make, each phase that you get yourself into, there is a high chance or high risk of failure, or there's a high chance or high opportunity that is attached to it. It's either a win or a loss. Sometimes, if you're lucky, it can be in the middle, they can be neutral. But most of the time, it can be at at losses. So you constantly have to be evaluating, okay, if we go about this, is this going to be better? If we go about this, is this going to be well? If we go about this, what is it going to affect the whole project? Is it going to affect the brand? Is it going to affect the company? We have to think about this. We have to be meticulous about this. We have to be very meticulous about this. So yes, identifying and assessing project risks. Each stage, from the planning to the organizing to the allocating to the D-day of the product being released, and even um post production, or post evaluation of the project. All these are things you have to evaluate after, the event has been done. You constantly have to do that. You constantly have to go through that. So yeah, so identifying and accessing project risks. There are always going to be loopholes, and as a project manager, planning is constantly going to be what you're supposed to be worried about. You constantly have to be thinking about. You have to, yes, look for ways to mitigate challenges and risks in your project. That is why you are a project manager. That is why you are there, to make sure that the project goes smoothly. So you always have to look for problems, even if the project is going smoothly. Just sit down and just imagine a bad scenario, and just look for a solution for it, so that in case it happens, you have it solved. That is just the best way to go about it. Yes, yes, yes. So we're going to execution, which is assigning tasks and responsibilities, which I've said again, allocating for either resources or uh, um, roles, yeah, or staffing. Let's use staffing for you to be able to make sure that the project goes well. Are you hiring a communications analyst or strategist? Are you going to be hiring uh, a digital marketer, or a normal plain outbound marketer that is constantly on the field? Are you going to be getting a developer to create a page for you? Is it going to be in-house, or you're outsourcing because of you think the other person's page is better? So you have to be very clear about identifying roles, and knowing who you're going to be giving these roles to. This will help you in making your project very easy and very sweet, very easygoing. It leads to a greater level of success for you as a project manager. So acquiring necessary resources. So when this brings us back to budgeting. So most of the times, what some project managers fail to understand is that always make sure that the things you need most, you should have a list. The things you need most, those are the things that you need to get first. The things that you know are important. Without that, this project will not succeed. Those are the things you need. If it's, for example, let me say, let's use the prom as an example. In a prom, what do you need? You need a good hall. You need chairs. You need tables. So instead of getting tables, you just get a decorator. A decorator to decorate what, please? Where are the people going to sit? What is the person? The hall. Is it just the hall that person will just go in? Where are people going to be sitting? Where DJ? Somebody said DJ. Yes. So all this, you understand, you have to be very clear. You have to get food for for the individuals in this prom. Or are they going to be eating their hands? You have to be very clear you have to prioritize the list. You have to prioritize things that you know they need at that event that you know is supposed to make an impact that event. You understand? Yes, blessing, snacks and food. Blessing also said better MC. Blessing, I don't understand why you're having so many comical points, but yes, you have to have very clear and meticulous and precise listing. Sorry, she got me a bit in a haze. So yes, that is it. Acquiring necessary resources, that is very very important. Very very yes. First contact ushering. There are a lot of things that you have to consider. What you know is needed. What should not be needed should not be at the event. Why are you having a clown at a prom? Why are you having street dancers at your club? Why are you having a, what do you call those, a cultural dancer at a prom event? Do you understand? So yes, Omodasola said, can you just get an event planner who handles that, delegate based on the budget? Yes, you can do that. You can do that. That is very smart thinking. That is a very wise thing to say. I am very impressed with where your mind is. Yes, so that's very needed as well. So yes, carrying out project activities according to plan. Along the way, as a project manager, you may feel, we can skip this project, we can skip this phase and get into the another phase. So like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of methodologies in project management. So this can be very tasking if you do not know what methodology you're going to be using. If you're not using agile, or you're not using waterfall, or you're not using, or you choose to use hybrid, you understand. So you have to be in line. You have to be time bound. Like I mentioned again, in your smart decision making, you have to be very time bound. You have to be very, very time bound because, and you have to be very clear on each of the tasks or roles or each of the goals that you've set for each time. If by week 2 you haven't gotten the chaperones to all volunteer or outsource for who you're going to be getting in this project, honestly, you are behind time, and you have to look for a way to incorporate that before you move to the next stage. Or you can still move in the next stage and make sure that you are still outsourcing for this chaperones, or still trying to make sure that you meet up to each deadline. Because if you don't put deadlines, you're not being realistic with yourself. The moment you don't put deadlines, you're killing yourself. You will be dead by the end of the project. So you have to do that. You also have to do that too as well. You have to always make sure that each stage you're taking, each step you're taking, each phase you're getting yourself into, you are handling them with precision. You are handling them clearly. You are achieving them. These are very important points that you need in order to be successful in your project. So we have monitoring and control, tracking project process progress rather, sorry, against the plan. So yes, like I mentioned earlier, you constantly have to be tracking your progress. You have to know, have I, like I mentioned as well, the deadline thing. If you haven't reached your deadlines, or if you haven't achieved a goal, even your clients will be worried, because they'll feel like, I just hired this project manager to just help me spend my money that I could have spent on my own if I decide to make this kind of decision. But that is why you were employed, in order to be able to do this. You understand? So you have to be very very clear about all these things when trying to make sure that your goal and your project reaches its success. You have to constantly be checking your list. If you could just have maybe written down list, or you could use any of the software apps, or you could even use your calendar. It's life has been made easier with so many software apps and so many um, yeah, apps pretty much. Lives have been made so much easier with so many apps to make things easier for you. We have AI, artificial intelligence. You could just record it in your phone. By this day, I need to be done with this. By that day, I need to be done with this. I need to review. And you have to get reporting. Yes, reporting from your team. When your team do not meet up to deadlines, you need to be clear and communicate to them too as well that they are helping this project reach its disaster rather than its goal. You have to be very, very clear about this because honestly, when everybody decides to relax or when everybody just decides to go by their free will, it takes a lot. It can mess up it will destroy and lead your project in disaster. So your team, that's why I said allocating of responsibilities is very important. You need to know people that are really dedicated to the job and will constantly make sure that they deliver. You have to have people that have great worker ethics in order for you to be able to get a good project done. So yeah, measuring project performances. This could you could also involve use KPIs to be able to understand how everybody's performance has been able to increase in the product project and product management. Okay, so Olua Pelumi asked, what's the difference between project and product management? Okay, so there is a big difference between project and product management. So for project management, let me give you an example. For example, now let's say this pen that I'm holding is it's a product. So the role of the product manager is to make sure that this pen, before it becomes this pen, everybody involved in production, everybody involved in labeling, everybody involved in branding, everybody involved in making sure that this pen is is ready for sale and is ready for testing is the role of a product manager. The product manager is focused. Sole goal is in the success of a product. But for a project manager, while the product manager is concerned about this product, a project manager is concerned about everything revolving or evolving around this pen. The project manager is also looking after the product manager. She's also or he or she is also looking at the production process, also looking at the timeline for that project and for this product to be made and when it's supposed to hit the market and what we're supposed to do to make sure that this product this project around the success of this product it is achievable and is successful. That is one of the yeah yeah yes Sarah Gabriel. Project management is a broader approach compared to event management. Yes, yes. But then the good part about being a project manager is that you have an amazing knowledge about time management. You have an amazing knowledge of what do you call it? Um, Project management. You have a very good skill on timing, organizing, allocating, and leading. And when you have all this, honestly, I feel you can work anywhere, literally anywhere, with any brand, with any corporation, or with any ad or campaign that you may be outsourced or in house with whatever brand or company you're working with. For the meantime, if I don't have a system. Short Joy Timini, she asked the question. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Can I manage an event? You can overlook an event as a project manager. Oluwatosin. That is you being you overlooking the event is what makes you a project manager, not you um, um, handling the events like, decorations and all. No, no, but you handling the whole success of the event, from the planning to the outsourcing. As a project manager, I feel like you can literally do anything. That's your superpower. You can literally do anything. You can literally work anything. And I'm really glad that you decided to pick this as a course, because you are in high demand. You are unique, you are expensive, you are rare. So yes. So moving forward, we have making necessary adjustments to the project plan. So yes, like I mentioned, there are methodologies whenever you're trying to make sure that you accomplish or are successful in your project. So there are times that you will realize that your planning wasn't adequate, or your planning was poor, or your planning was on point, but maybe something in the market changed, maybe based on the economy, based on delivery, based on supply. Yeah, things like this tend to happen. So you always have to make adjustments. Maybe the timing for your event has been scrambled, or the time for you to release your product, the brand's products, or to help in running that campaign gets moved. How do you handle this? You have to look for ways to strategize and see how it doesn't affect the the project itself. It will just lead to a successful project, and make sure that your client is happy with your decisions, and making sure that his project is a success, because that's the role of a project manager, to make sure that whatever project you're handling reaches its success, its desired goal. Then closure, completing project deliverables. Like I mentioned, your client's happiness is your number one priority. You have to make sure that they are at ease with you. They trust in your work. They trust that the whole process to the work is clear, is transparent. There is no funny business, and everything, just make sure that there are good either conversions or good feedbacks. These are making sure that in the resources that you've outsourced for is what the client desires, making sure that the persons that you employed for these roles are delivering. Make sure that your planning goes in line with that of what the project is, or what the project may be. So that is you completing project deliverables, making sure that you were efficient in the whole project, and making sure that there were no gaps or no space for you to falter or default. You are accountable for everything. So yes, then we have conducting a project evaluation. So as much as we don't like to hear the truth at times, sometimes people can be unbearable when they're under pressure. And just because you're a project manager, and I said you should be patient, you should be understanding, you should be clear, doesn't mean that you won't have your moments. There are times that you will have your moments, and to you, you are making the best decision, but honestly, you might not be. So, post project evaluation, and even during project evaluation, is very necessary in order to get other people's insights. Because if you fully make decisions just by yourself, you you won't see that you are being biased. You won't know that you are falling into the gray areas. But that's why you have a team, so that they can help you clarify and help you make sure that everything is clear and precise, and you're still on track, and you're still able to motivate them, and you're still somebody that they wish to work with. So yes, project evaluation, and not just for you being the project manager, sorry, or with your team, but with the event or the campaign that you're handling. You have to make sure that everybody, from your suppliers to the workers that you've outsourced for, are in line with everything, or are also giving their inputs, their little inputs that to you at that time may not seem clear, but when you sit down and evaluate it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I should have gone with this person's idea. It would have made it easier. Maybe next time I'll work with it. Or maybe you believe that your idea is best and the person comes with it, and then you like carefully explain or carefully communicate it to the person. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a very good idea. I really love this idea, but honestly, I'm going to just stick with what I have already, because I have already planned and looked at the risks and the cons of this plan. So I already have the pros to the cons and the answers to the challenges that I might have. So maybe next time, if in a different situation, or a different campaign, and this kind of situation pops up, I will most likely want to use the idea that you have given me. Just because I said your idea or your plan goes well doesn't mean you can't make room for other people to help you in your project management process. It's also very important for you to take other people's point of views. It will help you. It will help you. Life of it. Life on a coach. Be careful in your. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I think she's talking to somebody. Is yeah. So yeah. Thank you. So our next point is project management methodologies. So I've been singing about this, so this is us finally here. So project management methodologies are systematic approaches to planning, executing, controlling, and closing projects. If you notice, planning keeps occurring in almost every single um, um, explanation, or in every meaning of project management. You will always see planning. You will always see planning. Planning is just like your number one thing as a project manager. So yeah, it is like I mentioned again, it is a systematic approach to planning, executing, controlling, and closing projects. So let's move forward to what the next slide has to say. So agile. One of the methodologies that we have is agile. And under agile, we have let's first explain interactive and incremental. Projects are divided into smaller circles or sprints. So what are sprints? Sprints are like phases. Sprints are like time bound projects, time bound goals. That's what you can call a sprint or a phase. These are things that have deadlines or are precise and should be attended to or acknowledged at a very given time. So, okay, Dorothy, you have a question. You can ask that when I am done. I would answer. So it's like going back to the original plans and making it next time. So can I say evaluation? Sorry, let me answer Ruth. So can I say evaluation is like going back to the original plans and making adjustments for the next time? Just a question. Yes, you can. You always reevaluating yourself makes you better, makes you better as a project manager, because the fact that you're always making sure that you have made a step and you've accomplished it, you're successful with it, doesn't mean that you shouldn't go back and think about it and see ways that you could have made it better, easier, and smarter for you. Sometimes it's not all about doing the hardest work, it's about the smartest way you go about it that gives you good results too as well. So if you notice that, oh, I did this, I did that, and it was stressful, it was a lot for me to be able to accomplish this, even though I did it. How can I do this? How can I break this down to make it easier for me next time? So, yeah, always evaluating yourself is very important. So, uh, I don't think she asked, Dorothy has asked her question. Is going through every step, identifying problems. Where can you improve and what needs to be changed? Thank you so much, Saratu Yusuf. You are a delight. Yes, that is pretty much what evaluation is in a nutshell. So yeah, projects are divided into smaller circles or sprints. So if you notice, agile is like a circle. It's in shape of a circle, and then you see it's all the way out. So the first stage is requirements. We have here we have 6 stages, which is requirement, design, development, sorry, testing, deployment, review, and then out. So the great thing about agile is that it's actually flexible. So in the points too as well, it says flexibility adapts to changes in requirements, and then we have collaboration, emphasis on teamwork and customer involvement. So you know how I'm always mentioning that your clients' satisfaction should be one of your number one priorities. Yes, that is what it pretty much means. That is what it pretty much means for you to be able to um, involve your team workers and your customer or your clients. Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for that point. We'll look into that. Projects are divided into smaller circles, which I already explained. Flexibility adapts to changes in requirements. So, if like I mentioned, when you're having a phase, when you're in a phase, or when you're in a sprint, or when you're evaluating yourself, or you're the next stage, you're in the next stage of your project, based on how you have planned it, or based on how you have organized it. You have the power when you use agile to move to the next stage. Yes, very it sounds risky, but you have the power to move to the next stage if you feel that this project is making me take so much time. How about we handle it, but it's no longer a primary goal, it's more of a secondary goal. Maybe you're done with 60% into the project. Maybe you're 60% into the project, or into that sprint, or into that phase, and you feel your timing is a bit off, or you're not meeting up to deadlines. You can go into the next sprint or the next phase and try to resolve that issue. The great thing about agile is that it's very flexible. No matter how you do it, you can always make sure that you meet to your let's say your phase or sprint goals, and still try to make sure that the goal of the project is still intact. The whole view of the project is still intact, without harming the project. And along the way, things tend to happen. You tend to have challenges, or there are better ways to go about this. So you have to quickly go back, change the what do you call it? Sorry, change the labeling to a much better. Can you guys hear me? I don't know. I lost a bit. I was lost there for a second. Can anyone hear me? Okay. Am I still on? Thank you so much, Ari, Nemi. Thank you, Chien. So yeah, so like I mentioned, in Agile we have 6 stages, which is requirements. Requirements is just like research, the research you have made about the project, the research and the sources that you have on that project. Yes, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that, I need that, I need this. So this is just the requirements that you need for the project. The second is the design. How do I want it to look? How do I want people to perceive this project? How do I want to be able to have a successful project and still work with my budget? Is the design supposed to, is the outlook of the project supposed to be something beautiful? Is it something that is supposed to just be neutral? Is it something that's supposed to just be calm? Is it something that I could work with the project and it can still make it have this nice look, or is something that the project is just going to look bad, but at the end of the day we have achieved the goal? So yeah, the design or the outlook of it. Then we also have the development stage, which is you actually executing. I'm so sorry for the terminologies. Yeah, the executing, you actually making those efforts to make sure everything is in place. You're actually working towards it. I'm sorry. You're actually working towards it. You're actually achieving this so-called goals that you've made for yourself. So the thing with agile is that, yeah, you're in requirement stage, right? But then you could also still be developing, or you can then move to, or you can just come back to number 2 because of it's so flexible. You can always go back a stage or go back a phase or go forward a phase with your team. If your team have already done the deployment, which is making sure that they have executed everything and everything is now clearly perceived, everything has been communicated well, everybody has already gotten their hands on done, and everything is most likely 60 to 17%. Why the term agile? Okay, why the term agile is because it's flexible, it's not rigid, it's not casted on stone. It can always be 2 paces forward, 1 pace forward, 1 pace back, 2 paces backwards. You can always move in and out of this product, of this methodology. No, the agile scrum is the best methodology for. So yeah, most of the time people mistake it for scrum, but no. Scrum and agile, they may seem similar, but they're not. Agile is more, it has more flexibility, it has more what's the word I'm looking for, it has more correlation with it has more just flexibility. It's just very much flexible in moving in and out of the project. Not in and out of the project, meaning in and out of your planning or your organizing or your framework or your plan. The fact that you can make sure that the goal of this project is still intact, but you can still make sure you can make tweaks here and there along the way. Maybe you are already at your deployment stage or at your review stage. Your review stage is your evaluation or your feedback stage. Yes, or your feedback stage. You understand? You can be there and then maybe you got an idea, or maybe your team say, "Oh, sorry, we don't think this worked out. This worked out well, yes. But what about if we try it this way and it works out better?" You can still go back to your development stage and still make tweaks there to make sure that the result of the project is better. You understand? It just gives you an easy flow between you and your team or the organization to make sure that you bring optimum result on the project. That is all about that's all I have about project management. It's also you carrying along your clients in the projects, you carrying along your clients, you carrying along your customers, consumers, depending on what the project may be. You constantly picking and seeing how it is benefiting yourself, your team, and also the end result of the project. Making sure that everybody fully understand making sure that everybody fully understands the project. Every that its goal is to make the project better. That is how I can go about agile. That's how I can explain it. Sorry, I am Manu. I'm sorry. We just have few more minutes and I'll be rounding up. Yes. So that is just what agile is. It's flexible. You are collaborating with not just your team, but you're collaborating with also your clients and your consumers, making sure that the project is constantly desiring to be better. That's just the whole point of agile. That is pretty much the most example I can give. Okay, can you please give a live example, especially on flexibility? Okay, so where which of I think I've had an experience while using agile methodology. Okay, so I would give an example with an event that I once worked with. So at the day of the event, let's say prior to the day of the event, I was the project manager to a fashion event, and we had already planned to outsource for weavers and for potters and the likes of them. So when the first day of the event happened, uh, it felt like, and we had to be paying this person's per day. Yeah, it was per day. So we noticed that it was not getting as much traction as we expected. We're not getting as much results that we expected. People were not even interested. Only like 2% of the persons that 2% of people rather were interested in this workshop at a live event. Do you understand? We wanted it to be something that people will connect with, engage with while the event is still going on. But we noticed that people were not interested in. People were interested in dancing. People were interested in meeting other persons, communicating with other persons, having relations with other persons, engaging people, networking with other persons, rather than working at the event. So we at that moment had to decide that we have to take them out of it, of the event. Being a 3-day event, we just had to get them for just 2 days because we didn't want to um, strain our budgets as well. Even though we had planned about it, we just had to prioritize things that we knew were going to be betterment for our company or for our brand, rather than us investing in so many other incredible ideas, but still not giving enough traction for us. So that's an example that I can give for agile. Even at the spot, you can make decisions that are going to be better. Even at the spot, you have to make decisions that are going to be better for the project. Yes. So, secondly, the next point that we have is thank you. Thank you, Emeka. I see you also being a lecturer and instructor here. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. There's a lot of things that I can't, go back to, but you'll get the opportunity to have this document, so you can then peruse at your own given time. So yeah, the next one we have is waterfall. So waterfall is subsequential. Project phases follow a linear progress. Okay, so before we come here, can let me answer Elizabeth real quick. Elizabeth asked the question saying, since agile is so flexible, how can one deal with incomplete work or carry over from one sprint to the next? So this is why you are a project manager, because you have to be very meticulous about your time. You have to have smart decision goals and smart decision making too as well. You cannot um you cannot leave a phase or a sprint unattended. You cannot leave it unattended. You cannot leave it halfway done. I feel the best result you can give for a project or a phase or a sprint will be 80 to 90% that it can go fully well without being undone. The rest 20 you can handle it. If your timing is good, if you know that you can constantly make sure to deliver in time or on time. And you also have to evaluate yourself because how would you start explaining to your clients that you've not been able to reach optimum goal or success on the project because of you were busy doing other things and you left out an important chunk of your project? It makes you look unprofessional and it makes you look unreliable, and that's the worst. That's the worst insult you can receive as a project manager, that you are the most unreliable person on this earth, because that is shattering, because your number one thing is always planning and always executing and always leading and always making sure that you are reaching a success in a project. So yes, agile lets you to easily make um, decisions that will be better for the project. Thank you as well, Bina. Yeah, that's also answering you as well. So please let's move on. Let's move forward. Um, sequential. Sorry, project phases follow in linear progression, meaning that it is more rigid than agile. It is more. It has a flow. Yeah, it has a flow that you have to follow, that you cannot break. It's not like the agile who is in a circle, meaning you can move at any free position that you wish to, or flexibility in that point. No, it has a flow that you have to follow. It has a direct system that you have to follow. You cannot just, okay, I'm making it in this place, let me move forward. No, 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 you still have to make sure that you're following in the precision of that linear flow or that linear progression. So we also have detailed planning, requires upfront planning and documentation. Another thing about agile is that it's actually very funny enough. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention is that it's traditional. Not all the time will you get a project manager document his progress or document the project. Most, yeah, we are always talking about planning and evaluation, but there is no documentation. Most of the time there is no documentation because of how flexible it is and because of how you can make decisions at a go or at a given point. You understand? It's traditional. You can make a decision and it works fine, but there is no documentation. How then will you be able to track the progress of this project? You understand? So that's like one of the downfalls of agile. Most of the time it's not documented because they are making decisions at the go and it's not getting enough updates, or it's not being um archived in in the project plan. Yes, that's like one of like the cons of agile. As much as it's easy and sweet and amazing to use, it's also has this unwavering situations going on for it. Then we also have less flexibility. Yes, we're still on the waterfall page. um I don't want to say this wrongly. Is it idiota? Yeah, yeah, that is it. So less flexibility. Sorry, detailed planning. Yeah, we're detailed planning. requires upfront planning and documentation. So remember how I think was it what was her name? I can't remember, but she's very very active in the comment section too. So she was constantly mentioning. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. So yeah, we have little timing left. So I'm going to try to just breeze through. Then you get um the documents for this meet. Sorry. Requires upfront planning and documentation. Yeah. So where was I? So like I mentioned, the agile not having proper documentation, but good planning. The waterfall is very meticulous about documentation and also about planning. The more you are about planning and documenting, the more easier it is for you to be able to handle more projects and to be able to um, use for future referencing or future planning. This helps make things easier for you because you can repeat this process over and over and over and over and over again in so many other projects, depending on what the result was for you when you used this methodology. So less flexibility, changes can be costly and time consuming. So how is um, change in your plan affecting your budget? How is it time consuming? Because most likely you're already at the fourth stage and nothing is working. Nothing is maybe at the final stage and nothing is working, nothing is moving forward, nothing is making it easier for you guys. So imagine investing so much and then you have to go back and reevaluate what the problem was and find a good solution for the project to have a success. So it's not it's not easy. You have to be at the top of your game, like how Ibu Kono Lua Udu mentioned. Yes, you have to be at the top of your game. If the project is not giving good results, it can take a toll on you guys because you have to spend in order to reevaluate and to implement new plans. And it's not only time consuming, it's also taking a lot on your budgeting. So you have to be very meticulous while you're planning all this. And if you choose to use this waterfall um, methodology, and God forbid your plan goes to hell, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to experience because it can be shattering. But then when you are able to successfully regain all that you've lost, everything becomes peachy and you don't feel that much pain. It's just, the life cycle of a project. Things like this are supposed to happen. Sometimes it's not um, as rosy as we expect, and sometimes you end up meeting thorns along the way. So these are the kind of challenges that you are meant to face as a project manager. Yes, waterfall is systematic. It is very systematic. It's this stage. If you do not accomplish this phase, if you do not successfully finish this roles and tasks in this phase or in this sprint, you cannot move to the next sprint. It has to be a step by step by step process. It cannot be interwoven or you have to be very precise and meticulous about it. So projects with suitable for projects with well-defined requirements and minimal uncertainties. So waterfall is very much more suitable for projects that are clear, precise. This is what we want. This is how we want it. This is what we deserve. This is what we need. Clear, precise. You cannot go beyond. you have to be very direct, very straight. You cannot give room for too much ideas. You cannot give room for too much extravagancy or ways to maybe beautify the project. No, you have to be very precise because you know what is at stake. So it's suitable for projects that you know are maybe even short time framed, that's this is their goal, and you know there is just a direct road to getting that project done. That is just meant to be your focus. You cannot deviate your mind, deviate your goal, or you have to be very straight with your planning. Everybody has to know this is the goal and that is what we're doing. No room for mistakes, no room for you to be able to, make mistakes. Yeah, pretty much. Sorry. And minimal uncertainties. When you know that you are trying to eradicate problems or challenges or risks in the project, this is the best time for you to use waterfall because it is just a step by step, and the main goal, you just have one goal, one result in mind. So you trying to perfect one phase, it should be your goal, it should be um your achievement plan or your success plan for the project. Each step matters, each step should be successful, each step should bring in good results or good reporting. So the next, divine, how she spelled it. Yes, as a project manager, you are to determine which of the methodology to use to help make your project a success. So we have the hybrid. So so far you've heard about agile, you've heard about waterfall. Hybrid is the meshing together, the collaboration, the togetherness of agile and waterfall. It is not as rigid as hybrid, and it's not as flexible as agile. It is just that neutral friend that you can always try to meet and make sure that you guys just have a very successful, good time, or a happy memory. So for those that are always in the middle and feel like they're trying to play it safe, hybrid is the best go-to methodology for me, honestly. So it combines agile and waterfall, which leverages the strength of both approaches and balances the iterative development with upfront planning, and chooses the best approach for different project phases. So you have to be very rigid, and you have to be very flexible. You have to be in the middle. You have to make it sweet and sour. You have to make sure that each phase is something that is at its optimum best and doesn't take too much of um what's the word, doesn't take too much of risks. You understand, doesn't take too much of risks. It's something that you can rely on, that it's definitely going to. Yes, yes, waterfall can be very much more expensive, but hybrid is just the the neutral one, that even though you make some mistakes, no, I don't believe you can make mistakes. I believe that you can have wrong planning or challenges or risks in project management. So yeah, that's it. So that is pretty much for hybrid. So who is a project manager? A project manager is the backbone of a successful project. A project manager develops and implements plans to achieve a specific goal driven by the project's objectives or portfolio. It is subject to and ultimately to organizational strategies. So, like I keep on explaining, you are the planner. Everything, it's no longer the person's um it's no longer the client's product. It's no longer the client's brand. It is now yours. It's now your ball. Everything that you do, every decision that you make, either makes or breaks this client of yours or this brand of yours or this campaign or ad that you're running. You understand? As a project manager, your number one role is that you are even you're even more than the CEO. You're even more than the person that employed you for this role. You are his messiah at this point, because he is paying you to entrust you that this role is going to be successful. This role is going to be easy. So that is pretty much who a project manager is. You're meant to make sure that you mitigate risks, you plan, you organize, you allocate, you evaluate, and you strategize on ways that the project can be a success. So, roles of a project manager: planning and initiation, defining the project scope, goals, and objectives, creating detailed project plans, including timelines, budgets, and resource allocation, like I mentioned earlier, identifying potential risks and developing mitigation strategies, team leadership, assembling and leading the project team, delegating tasks and responsibilities, providing guidance and support to team members, execution and control, overseeing project activities to ensure they align with the plan, mentoring project progress and identifying potential issues, managing project budget and resources. We have communication, acting as a liaison between project team, stakeholders, and clients, providing regular project updates and reports, managing expectations and resolving conflicts. Risk management, we have identifying, assessing, and mitigating project risks, developing contingency plans, and quality assurance, ensuring project deliverables meet quality standards, implementing quality control measures, and closure, which is finalizing the project and handing over deliverables, evaluating project performance, and identifying lessons learned. So, we have come to the end. I really wished I could explain more, but our time is is really limited, and I really do hope that you enjoyed this presentation as much as I loved giving it. So it was really lovely meeting you, Dorothy, meeting you, Ibu, Odu. It was amazing meeting you live on a coach. She has been an amazing instructor too as well, and my co-instructor, Mr. Kingsley, who has also been the one answering most of you in this in the comment session. I'm really glad that you have taken this to be a career path for you. Those that are in already the system, I am so happy that you thought of improving yourself and growing more. And those that also this is their first time, thank you so much for coming on board with us, and we are so happy to have you here. Thank you, and thank you. Do have a great night, and I'll see you in our next class. Bye.